Good morning, people. My name is Luke. I've been reselling for 12 years and I'm going to be trying to start a new series on YouTube where I'm documenting kind of maybe a weekly vlog. I'm not sure that I'll be able to do daily vlogs just because some days I'm literally just locked in on a computer for 12 hours. So I'll try my best to make it as interesting as possible, and I'll take you through my day in the life today of a UK reseller. So if you don't know me, I've been reselling now for 13 years full time, which is pretty mental to say out loud. I make content here and there, but not really YouTube content as such. You'll notice that there's some videos on my YouTube channel, so please do check those out. We've done a few podcasts, which I really did enjoy. They are just quite hard to make. So I wanted to try a YouTube video. So please bear with me. It won't be the best video I've ever seen, but hopefully for some of you, it's quite insightful into what it's actually like running a business, being a reseller in the UK. So I run one of the largest UK reselling communities called Paragon Network. We've been running that for 5 years, but before that, I had it as another group. It just was a different name. So I've been running these online communities to teach people how to resell for a long time. So this morning, I'm setting everything up for the Undefeated Jordan 4s. They're going to be shop dropping on Nike at 9 AM, and there's currently about 9,600 pairs loaded, which for a shop drop is quite a lot of stock. And considering how limited Nike have made out this release to be, it is quite a lot. So the prices are definitely going to drop after this release, but there is of course huge demand there. This is one of the all-time nicest Jordan 4s, one of those grail status shoes. So we'll lock in, get the drop done. I'll show you how it goes. So this is just a little glimpse in the Discord. Those are the stock numbers there. Also have the EQL raffle ending for this new Labubu. If you don't know about Labubus, then that's a whole thing on its own. I will, try to explain best, but this is basically a giant version of the dolls that you see people clipping onto their bags. £80 retail, we're estimating it to sell for around about 150. So we've just got a couple of minutes until the drop. I'm not actually botting this because my whole sneakers Nike setup is completely scuffed. Nike are actually really quite hard to bot because they're constantly banning accounts or banning addresses, but you don't necessarily know that you're banned. You just kind of enter and never win. So it's a whole, it's a whole world on its own. If you're thinking about botting Nike, you've got to have some time, patience, and persistence. I'll tell you that much. But I'm gonna do this drop, try grab a couple of pairs manually. Of course, keep the group informed. Then I'll shower and we can head off to the studio. I did go to the gym this morning, but I was too embarrassed to film there, but we'll work on that. I have entered. I fear that I'm very banned on Nike, so we'll have to see if I have any luck. I'm just looking in the chat now. So this is called a Leo drop, which is essentially a 2-minute draw. So you have 2 minutes to enter and then they draw pretty much immediately. So you at least get told quite quickly that you haven't won or not, but it is essentially a raffle. If you never knew that, some people sort of think that Nike's always first come first served, but it is what you think is first come first served is still a raffle within the 2-minute period. There are sometimes occasionally actual first come first served drops on Nike, which they call flow. Oh my god, I actually got them. That's a personal as well. I actually really wanted these. Wow. That is probably the first time, and Eddie's just texted me as well. Probably the first time that I've hit a sneakers release in a long time. My guess as well is that a lot of people probably didn't know about this drop. If you're not in sort of a community like ours or getting the notifications, then, odds are that you probably wouldn't have known, and you would have got the notification on the app at 9, but then you only have 2 minutes to enter. So I think there'll be some unhappy people today, but also some happy people like myself. A lot of success in the group today. I'll just show you a bunch, but definitely a few hundred pairs caught between all the members. As I said in my initial post, it's kind of like every time I refresh, someone posts a new one. But so successful drop anyway for me and also for the members. I'm now gonna shower, get ready, and we'll go to the studio. So I think it's now about an hour after I said I was gonna leave. I got stuck doing something. When I fixate on something, it's very hard for me to stop doing it. So at the moment, like in the past month, I'd say I've been learning how to code. And that is what I was doing. By no means am I any good yet, but thanks to how good AI is, it's made it a lot easier for me to learn. So I was just working on something, got some cool projects in the pipeline as well, just because I'm now sort of able to actually do things rather than coming up with an idea and then not being able to action it. So that's pretty cool. But now I actually am gonna go get ready. Pretty simple outfit today. Just got the dunks, some jorts, vintage Nike. Also this cool Pata Rafa bag. I've been wearing this a lot. And then Trends by Fees cap, chrome jewellery, and all of this in the old Virgil IKEA mirror. Rest in peace. Ah, good dogs. So today's quite a big day. We have Supreme Week 1 release, which is essentially the first drop of the season from Supreme. There's a load of different stuff dropping. The main items that we're going to be going for resale are the Bones football jersey and the Playboy Carti tee. Now, the problem with the Playboy Carti tee is they tend to make a load of stock on the main item, which is the photo tee. So it's a little bit of a risk, but the demand is there and it's quite high. So we are going to be grabbing a few of those. We're also going to be running a load of slots for our members in our group, which is where we run the bots for them, because Supreme's actually quite hard to bot sometimes. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The first drop of the season is often quite tough because they've had a few months to try to stop bots or to change the website around. So we don't necessarily know that our bots are going to work on it. Regards to personals, there's a load of items I want to grab. The Crusher, I think it's called the Crusher studded hat or pinstripe studded hat. The Vanson leather Gore-Tex jacket, which I think is incredible. The problem with that is it's around £750 retail, so super expensive. I'm going to try to grab one in the cream colorway and I'll try it on and see if I want to keep it. If not, I'll definitely try to flip that. So I've just been into the shop to try get a limited edition teabag Jellycat. Now these are releasing only at Jellycat StockX, not the actual Jellycat stores. So now I've got 4 of them nearby, so I just went and tried all 4. None of them had them. The problem is every time I call, they're very dismissive about it. Oh, we don't know when they're coming in, just come in and check. I feel sorry for them really, because they're just little small independent shops that probably don't really care about the 5 Jellycat toys that they're selling for 20 quid, but they're 25 quid and they're reselling for over 100. So every day I'm trying to make an effort to go see, but ended up grabbing a meal deal instead. Rate my meal deal: chicken, bacon and lettuce, monster and egg protein pot. Let's go. Welcome into our humble abode. This is Eddie. I don't know, you must know him if you've watched our channel before, but if not, this is the other half, the skinnier, more handsome half of Pyramid. But so I just need to unbox some things. Let's show you what we got. We've got a load of these Pokemon White and Black Flare booster bundles. We're actually coming to the end of them. We had a huge amount that got delivered over the past few weeks. So the retail on these is £23 after including delivery, and we've been selling them for between 30 and 35. So we had 200 total. We've got about 30 left, I think. As they've been coming in, I've just been trying to shift them as quick as possible. We'll probably hold on to a few as well, just because Pokemon typically tends to go up over time. So it is a pretty good investment. Whatever we buy Pokemon wise, I try to hold back at least 10%. Just for the long game. So I'll show you a little example. So this is the Journey Together Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box. Retail on these was £50. Current market is around about £90 to £100, but our target for these is 150. So I will hold these as long as it takes, but they should rise to 150 eventually. Sold this 151 for how much, Eddie? 72, 70 quid. £25 retail, and then this 2-pack of charismatic boosters for 105. Yeah, and again those were £25 retail, so £55 profit there and £45 profit on that. A couple sales just come in. Decent. But this is how the desk setup is currently. Nothing too special. I used to have, if you've been following me for a while or watching videos, you'll remember I used to have 3 of these screens, which is just way too much. That would need like basically 2 whole desks. I used to have that set up in my house, and it just, it was taking up a whole room. It wasn't worth it. So as you saw earlier, I've got one of these screens at home, and then I've got one here. And to be honest, that's more than enough. I plug my laptop in at the bottom. I've got that extra screen there. So let me show you how we're looking. I'm just setting up for Supreme at the moment, and another couple of drops have happened just whilst I've been setting up for that. So got the little setup here. This is the tripod for when I film our TikTok videos and stuff. But quickly show you, so this is our pings channel inside the Discord. It's basically like a summary. So when we notify a role, it gets posted in this channel. So as you can see here earlier, we had this Jellycat release dropped online, the Leola Bear in the medium size, £25 retail. And as you can see, one of our staff members posted the eBay sales, but I had a little look, and to be honest, they're actually better than we first thought. There's sales for £90, and people are listing for 100. So we had a restock of the 204Ls, and I pinged that, just said bigger sizes in stock, some sales even for bigger pairs around 150. So I quickly checked eBay before pinging everyone, and as you can see, there's sales in those bigger sizes. The smaller sizes in this shoe are like 200, 220. And we called that on the initial release, but yeah, there's been a few restocks since. So the main bots that people use at the moment on Supreme are NSB, Cyber. Some people use a bot called Make as well, which is an Asian bot. That's kind of the top 3, to be honest. Now, the interesting thing about Cyber is that if you've ever run Supreme before, and I apologize if this is a bit nerdy, but I think a lot of you guys watching this video want to hear this stuff. So when you're checking out on Supreme, there's a thing called H capture. Now, this is a capture that's very hard for bots to solve. Now, there used to be some solvers where you pay and they solve it for you, but they actually all got cease and desists from H capture themselves. So the biggest sort of barrier that stops you from scaling Supreme is the H capture, because you have to manually solve them in Cyber. So Cyber's a great bot, but you can only run probably 10 to 20 tasks because you have to solve them yourself manually. It takes a few seconds to do each one, so that slows you right down. Now, NSB actually has their own AI solver. So I tend to run NSB because at the moment for today, I've got 200 profiles that I need to run, and there's multiple products. People want Carti T, the jersey, so I'm going to be running hundreds and hundreds of tasks, and obviously I can't sit there solving manually. So that's essentially why I'm running NSB. I'm also running Cyber, and I will manually solve on that as well, which you'll see me doing in a bit. But that gives you a little rundown on my setup. And as I said on the way to the studio earlier, we don't know what bots are going to be like. On week 1, there typically tends to be a new anti-bot challenge, or they change one of the areas in the form or something. So we'll have to see how we do. I'm going to carry on setting up because I've got a load of spreadsheets to go through, sort out all the forms, sort out all the profiles, and then we can run. I had a phone call from a friend who deals art, and he's got a buyer for 2 pieces that I have. So over the years, reselling, obviously delving in various niches and different industries, I have built up a bit of an art collection, or more of an investment. It's not really stuff that I frame. I've got a few nice pieces in my house, but the piece in question is this. And I've got 4 of these, I believe. This is called the Monkey Parliament by an artist called Mason Storm. And the reason that that's popular, essentially he's got quite a cult following of people that basically think he has something to do with Banksy. Whether he is Banksy, has done some of his pieces before, has worked with him, collaborated, etc. That is the theory. Not sure if I believe it or not, but in turn it's made some of his pieces valuable. So I think the buyer is looking to pay between £500 and £600 each, so could potentially be a little £1,200 sale on those. I just need to find the certificate of authentication. I've got one here, but it's not for this piece, so yeah, that's going to be interesting, because without that it's pretty hard to sell art, or at least it's not as valuable. But I've got a bunch of other cool pieces here. I don't know if anyone's into their art, but I've got some nice Connor Brothers pieces. I really like those. Got some David Shrigley, all that jazz, but yeah. I'll show you some of my artwork in another video. For now, let's get back to the desk. You're not going to believe this. I literally, look at this. Watch out for restocks. I sense one coming. 314. 315 it restocked. It is a minute until the Supreme drop. I was going to try screen record, but it all got a bit too hectic. So I am just running, and I'll hopefully have some checkouts to show you. So at the moment, all of my tasks say monitoring. Let's have a go manual. So it is live manually. It's the retails and everything. Doesn't look like bots are working, which is not good news, but also not that surprising. I kind of said this a few times earlier that I wasn't super optimistic. Let's see.
Cut back. The edit. See it.
Does seem to be getting some checkouts in general, but I'll keep running it anyway. That lighter is crazy, 368. I really like this varsity jacket, the drill team one. I can't see any like EU checkouts, I can only see US ones. Seems like Cyber's working fine. Jersey's actually gone, which is good considering. Oh, it's actually carting now, but it's not solving the captures. I've now got a couple of checkouts. Where are we? We're 7 minutes past 4, so they probably updated it and it will now work on the restocks. If you don't know, Supreme restock very frequently for around about half an hour after the drop. So if you run, you can leave it running and normally tend to get a few checkouts. Cyber did work quite well on the initial release, but you did have to manually solve the captures like I was pretensing earlier. So yeah, I'll give you guys a final rundown in a bit once all the restocks have stopped and we've got a bunch more checkouts. But yeah, I managed to grab the bits that I wanted personally, just manually. Like I said earlier, the first drop of the season for Supreme is normally quite easy to grab what you want, just because they make a load of it. There's so many different items that people are going for. So the Playboy Carti tee and the jersey were definitely the two quickest items to sell out. So that is good news for our resale predictions. So I ended up getting super distracted towards the end of that drop. I hit maybe like 10 checkouts total, which for me is, you know, nothing. So I was kind of over it by that point, went home, and then had the weekend. So I've been editing the video over the weekend, realized that there was no outro or ending to the video. So just wanted to film a little outro to say, if you got this far, I appreciate you. As I said earlier in the video, I'm going to try and make much more of an effort to get at least one of these videos out a week. Obviously depends on what's going on, how busy I am, whether I have the time to film. But normally there is enough interesting stuff that I can make videos about. It's just about putting that time into my day to actually sit down and film. So I appreciate all of you. If you're interested in reselling content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.